everybody, and welcome to the Blizzard Watch podcast. We talk about Blizzard Entertainment and its mini games, and sometimes some other games if we can get them in there. With me, as always, are my two fantabulous co-hosts, Liz Harper and Joe Perez, and our amazing special super guest podcast host of the week is Phil Ulrich, and I'm checking his name as I say it. I'm actually staring at it with my one good eye. So hi, everybody.
Howdy.
All three of you.
Hi.
Hello.
Right now, let's see. I guess we should just do these in order. WoW Classics got stuff going on. So, Burning Crusade Anniversary Edition is launching next year, which of course next year means probably February or something because
January pre-patch in January.
The full launch in mid-February. Okay.
Probably we don't have a fixed date for the launch, but probably early to mid-February. So. What's interesting about that is that may be right on top of the midnight launch. So if people are like on and off between classic and modern WoW, it's like you may have to really choose and hone in on one or the other. Because
Also, isn't this not like this? They're selling it even though you don't technically have to buy it.
I mean, they've done this for all of the expansion releases in Classic, I believe, or most of them. All you need to play Classic is a
Can you imagine
subscription.
the uproar if they just sold you an expansion that you already had bought, but it doesn't apply?
Yeah. That you bought 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
hey kids, you want to buy DC again?
No, I don't. This one. This pack you can buy stood out to me for two reasons. One, the price, and two, the number of things you get in modern WoW if you buy it. There's a flying mount, a ground mount, a pet, a toy, a cosmetic Hearthstone that is Naru themed. It's all a white glowy and Naru appears above you when you use it. And these are available in both modern and classic. So in the past, they've had kind of a mix and match of these. But yeah, now there are versions of both in both, though the modern ones, a little resolution upgrade. Though I have to say, one of them is a Nether Drake. Love the Nether Drakes. I went through the original Burning Crusade grind to get every Nether Drake. The modern Nether Drakes just don't appeal to me the way the classic weird phantom glowy ones do. And so the classic version is that, sort of phantom glowy thing. The modern one is also glowy, but looks a little more like a solid real creature. I'm a little less excited about that.
There's also the Epic Pack, which is $80, and that adds a character boost and some game time.
Yes. So there are two versions. The Heroic Pack, which includes all of those pets and toys for modern and for retail. That is $40. Do I have that right? I hope I didn't do all of this and read
it says $40 here on the thing you wrote.
And the Epic Pack is $80. It has all of that plus 30 days of game time and a character boost, so you could be ready to jump right into Outland. That just feels. I've got to say, you're getting a lot of cosmetics out of here if you really want it. If you went and did the math of how much would this cost if I bought it in the store, you're probably coming out ahead. But also, this is it's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. Already did the midnight pre-order and.
Well, it's also interesting that it's happening for both at the same time, because that is unusual that they would have everything you buy in one you get in the other. Usually it'd be one or the other. So
I think they had one for Cataclysm that you could buy, and it gave you rewards in each one, but I think they were different.
Yeah, they were different.
There was a mount in each one, but it was slightly different. This one's interesting. I kind of agree with you about the Nether Drakes, Liz. Like the new ones look. I don't know. They've done something high res to its teeth, and I don't like the way the teeth look. But it's also like a weird.
There's something.
It's like a weird mishmash of design elements. Like the face and body look like the old classic Nether Drake, but like they put some ethereal style armor on it, which is fine or whatever. Or like the gladiator armor is actually what it looks like. But then like its wings in the modern retail version are like sparkle pony wings. They've got the stars in them and everything. And the tail is the same thing, and then solid white feet. It reminds me of the dragon version of that set they sold, like a year or two ago in the shop. I think it's still there. The one that has like the gold and teal one that like puts stars around you if you have like the cloak transmogged or the shoulders, I think. It's interesting. But what jumped out at me, and I think this is just kind of funny, Velen couldn't get the Exodar off the ground ever, but by God, there is a floating Exodar toy. It's just a miniature version of the Exodar that flies. Get good,
It's
Velen.
just pre-crash, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. So it's going to warp between dimensions instead of flying by.
It would actually be really funny if one of its animations was to randomly crash into something and stick up at an angle, and then it would come back out and be like,
God,
hey, if you could get this one out, could you get the bigger one out? Because it's bigger.
Oh, I hope so. It just makes a tiny ecological disaster wherever it lands. Yes,
that would be great. Also in Classic, and this one's not coming soon. This one is happening within a month. The Mists of Pandaria is getting Mists of Pandaria Classic. My apologies. Is getting the Thunder King patch, the Thunder King raid, and the Isle of Thunder open zone thing that you can do. That's all coming on December 9th, which is 2 days after my birthday. You missed, Blizzard.
Oh, well.
But hey, at least it's happening in the same rough area. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not playing Mists of Pandaria Classics right now. I can't play this many games.
Yeah,
at this
that's
point,
the problem.
Just playing World of Warcraft is like playing 4 games. It's like, oh, okay, good. Yeah, get more stuff. Whoopee. Yeah.
If you're playing Mists, this is a great patch. There's just so much great content on the Isle of Thunder.
One of my favorite raids, one of the most fun I've had in a raid with my guild, which at the time was a Horde guild, was running the Thunder King raid, because there were certain parts where you could get on your big mount, which at the time was a reforging mount. Mm-hmm. And people would I would get up on my big mount. I was the only one who had one, and just suddenly everyone would be like, just like stuck to me like limpets. I don't know. Actually, was it the transmog mount by then? Like, I think they got rid of reforging for Mists, right? It might have actually been the transmog mount.
No, reforging was front and center because there was an ethereal who did it specifically.
Yep.
So when did they get rid of reforging? After Mists, they got rid of it for Legion. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I know I had it and it was very popular, and then they were like, "Oh, you must hate it now that they got rid of reforging." I'm like, "Are you kidding? They put a transmog vendor on it. I love it even more now."
Yep, it's
my baby.
It's one of those things where it was they removed it because it was like one of the many hoops you had to jump through in order to put a piece of gear on. So
yeah, and of course it went from, oh, I got a piece of gear that wasn't quite up to par, but I can use reforging to make it better until I get a better piece, and into I'm going to change every piece of gear I have to give me haste, or or crit, or whatever it was for warriors. It was crit.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, and I'm gonna have to go to a website and let it punch these numbers in and balance it in for me because I need to find the way to do this while also hitting 6% hit.
There was an actual mod that I had downloaded that contacted Mr. Robot and did that for me in the game, so I didn't have to leave the game to go look at it.
I really think I won't get too much into it, but I really think they could bring back reforging, make a lot of people happy, especially now that you don't have to hit or expertise caps. I really think it would be a popular feature again.
Probably, but
that's not here nor there.
Yeah, there's also there's a lot of other cool stuff on the Isle of Thunder, not just the raid. A lot of open world stuff that's really neat. A couple world bosses at least. I know there's the big dragon one.
Undasta is also up on the Isle of Giants. So
yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if
you can't tame him, unfortunately.
Oh, I wonder if the old graveyard Zerg strategy we used to use to get him down before we were possibly geared to do it, because your Undasta level had that laser that would just chain and take out like 20 people at a time. So I remember.
Yeah, but the graveyard is literally right next to him, so
so you just drag him to the edge of the cliff so that people would come out of the graveyard and run up to Undasta.
That's kind of the natural strategy there. I mean, what else are you going to do?
It's a good dinosaur.
Really fight the boss? Ugh.
In the case of Undasta, that was definitely a fight I didn't enjoy tanking. Oh, God, I was still tanking right then. I did not like Undasta. But yeah, so that's happening. So yay. And now we move on to World of Warcraft itself. I'm just going to mention this one, and then Liz will take over for a second, I'm pretty sure. This week's Midnight Beta patch adds transmog, and it's going to cost you a lot to unlock slots to switch between. Liz,
Remember that day when we all read the headline that transmog was going to be free and we were so excited?
Yeah.
You remember the joy of that day? That day is dead.
It's on the ground now.
It is on the ground.
You can stop shooting it. It's not moving.
So transmog in Midnight is you have sets and you can freely switch between the sets without changing, and the armor sets, if you have a set equipped, a transmog appearance equipped, and you change your armor out, you're still going to have that set. Great. So there's a lot of advantages to this, particularly earlier in an expansion when you're switching gear a lot. You can just set a look and keep it. You're not going to do that thing that I definitely don't do and just be like, oh, I can't put on this new gear because it's going to ruin my outfit, which is very important to me. So there are some great advantages to that. And the new system also lets you automatically switch between gear sets when you're doing different things. Like you could have something, you walk into your house and your character automatically puts on their pajamas. You could do that. Or, I'm going into a raid, I'm going to put on my kind of my murdering look because, you gotta get ready to stomp things if you're going into a raid. There are lots of cool things about the system. It is definitely not free. When you set up a look for the first time, it will cost you kind of the same range of gold that you spend now to change a transmog. If you ever change out a piece of gear, a piece of gear in a set, change out a single look, it costs you about what it costs you now. In addition, you will have to unlock armor slots if you want to have multiple transmog looks. There are 20 armor slots you can unlock in game now. There are also 20 armor slots that are just unlocked. They're a little bit expensive. If you want to unlock all 20 slots to have the number of slots that you have right now, it will cost you 800,000 gold. And that's a number I could not reach that without buying several WoW tokens. And not only does it cost 800,000 gold to reach the number of transmog sets that you currently have right now in the live game, it will cost you 800,000 gold per character if you happen to play multiple characters and you wanted to have more than a couple of transmog looks for them. I feel like this is how it stands in the beta right now, it could change.
I want to offer a different perspective. This is definitely expensive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is exactly how City of Heroes did it. And anybody who played that game will remember this because you got, Matt, you played, was it 6 outfit slots? I think Phil, you played 2. I think it was like 6. I think
it was 8, wasn't it?
Was it 8? It was 8 or 6.
It was one of those two.
Might have been 8 in City of Villains. Like
so
it
was 6, and then City of Villains added 2 more. That's right. This is exactly what you did. You opened up those slots. Monsoon Mike in chat, if you can look and tell me what it's currently set to, that'd be great. But you purchase those slots and you set an outfit for those slots. But if you, and that costs you influence, their version of gold. And to switch between those once they were set was free. If you wanted to change the look inside of one of those slots, it costs you influence to change that individual piece or whatever. And then once it was set, it didn't cost you anything to go back to it. They're doing basically the same thing. The problem is that this is getting very expensive very quickly. I think it's the escalation of it, right? And Monsoon Mike, thank you very much in our chat there. It was 6 slots in City of Heroes, and right now you can unlock 4 more if you are on the Legacy Homecoming. But like the jump from 100 to 500 to 1,000 to 5,000 is a pretty big incremental jump.
I mean, then there's an extra 5,000 up to 10 slots, then an extra 10,000 for every slot after 10 to 20.
Yeah.
There's a lot. That's a lot of gold to unlock them all.
Yeah. Go ahead, Liz.
So you start with 2 slots unlocked. Just so you can go and set up a transmog, but you could also do transmog exactly the way you do right now. You're just paying whenever you change something, which I now feel like I'm more likely to do more of that and maybe have a couple of slots saved for different occasions. But I feel a lot more like I'm just going to use transmog almost the way it is right now, except I'll have a couple of slots that are things I want to automate and automatically change between. So, because I do not have 800,000 gold to unlock 20 transmog slots, and I currently have 20 transmog appearances saved in the live game. So,
Yeah, that's
to
the
me,
downside, right? You can keep using it like you are now,
yeah.
but it's automatically worse than what you're doing now.
Yes, it is automatically immediately worse than what I'm doing because I cannot save looks that I am going to jump between without unlocking 20 slots. I can't so whatever I do, I'm going to have to significantly scale down the number of slots, the number of looks I have saved. And
yeah, it's definitely an impact, right? Like I'm not trying to minimize that.
yeah.
But I do think that for the vast majority of players, I think that this will be mostly a positive change for them. So
I think I think that if you are going
not
to
saying
have
everybody.
4 slots that you use, is fine. Like I'd spend 600 gold to get up to 4 slots. Then that would be fine. But I mean, as I say this, I probably have as many appearances currently saved as Liz does. And I had to go coordinate them because I play more than one warrior. So I'm constantly going, oh, I got to get that other look. And, so I get it. I understand why people would be upset about it. I know that I'm not going to get like 20 slots into this because I've never seen 800k gold, except the only time I saw that much money was when my guild started throwing gold at me so I could buy my own shoulders.
I mean, I know I'm an oddity. I think I'm sitting on like 3 million gold or something like that. But like,
and there's lots of people who are. Lots of my friends are. I just am not one of those people.
But that's the whole point of the beta, right? Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
If I combined every cent of gold I have on every character on my account, built up over the last 21 years, I might have 300,000 gold. That is gold making. I am very bad at it. It's not my kind of gameplay.
The amount of transmog you do, no wonder.
There's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to get a system that is as functional as the system I have right now. And I just feel like I thought this was going to be a big upgrade and that we'd be able to have a lot more sets and we'd be able to automatically switch between things. And now I feel like this is about the same as what we have now.
Now, this would be, I think 2 things need to be feedback given for this, right? And that's what the beta is for. And I'm encouraging people that are in the beta right now that feel strongly about transmog to submit the feedback. One, I do think that unlocking the slots is way too bloody expensive. I think that that's a crazy total for every character. So something's got to give. One, I think the price needs to come down. I think, something like 300k to unlock all the slots sounds a little more reasonable to me. There are other gold sinks in this game. Do not make transmog even bigger gold sink than it already is. 2, maybe if you're going to require slots to be expensive, it's one of those things where you need to start reducing the cost of individual transmog, or you get a discount based off of how many slots you have. And if you manage to unlock all 20 of them, transmog's free for you forever. Like there has to be some give there for it. But right now, I would agree, it's very expensive. The concept, I think, is solid. The cost is not.
Yeah, and it really does feel like a first iteration, and that some costs that we were told were not going to be there are still attached. And that just feels like the kind of thing that goes away with feedback. This is, after all, literally the first time the system has been in game. Like transmog was completely disabled last week on the beta, so they could lay the groundwork for this. The only thing that leaves a bad taste in my mouth about this is how it compared to when they made the transition from the old bank system to the new bank system, where you had bags or whatever. Yes, new tabs cost an increasingly large amount of money, but also they didn't take away stuff you already had to do it, and you actually came out ahead just in terms of sheer number of bank slots after the conversion. With this, the way it's currently set up, if you go from having 20 right now you can save 20 looks, and I was looking at screenshots of the UI. I was hoping that maybe saved looks would be separate from like active slots, because maybe I only want like 2 active slots because I'm just going between what I'm using in one spec and using another, and that's fine. But they're literally the same thing. Like it's conflated equipment, like it's equated outfit slots with saved outfits, and that means that transitioning to the system, they are taking away functionality that the game has for no good reason, and I do not like that. I do think that this is a great opportunity for people who are still working on add-ons. Keep those ones that let me add extra saved appearances, because apparently I'm going to need them. But I think for many alts, this will be okay. Like I would love to have this on my Legion Remix character, because I'm constantly changing gear and getting back to town. Like, oh God, what am I wearing? But like for an alt, I'm playing for an entire, for a raid season or two. Like I want to have these looks because I cycle between probably 8 or 9 looks fairly often, just whenever the mood strikes me. And it's just, especially with the situation system they're adding, which I don't think Liz even really touched on, and I don't know if it's implemented yet, where like you can have like the outfit when you go into a raid, even into like such granularities, like you can have the outfit that appears when you're swimming. Like if they're going to add that level of granularity in outfits that you can switch between, then I would really like to see some kind of compromise where we're not just stuck paying $800,000 per character. I think there has to be something. I think if I said dollars, 800,000 gold. I think if I was going to see one change to this that might even just settle it for me, is to make these unlocks account wide.
That's the other thing too.
I would probably actually easily pay up to the 10 slot amount. And then I've got 10 slots on every character. That's probably a bad use of my money, but I'm rich from enchanting this expansion, so I'd be okay with that. The fact that it's per character and that you're losing 18 slots per character is just, which means it's effectively an 800,000 gold tax per character to get back to where you were, is just kind of galling. So somebody put that input in on the beta for me. I don't have the beta, so
I definitely agree that having it be by character, which is annoying right now with regular transmog, because I have to go back and every time I get on a new character, I have to redo their particular transmog appearances, and that's kind of a pain in my butt. But compared to what this is going to be, the idea that I'm going to have to scrape up, you want to have all 20 unlocked, you need 800,000 gold again. It's like, I do not have, I do not. So yeah, I agree with that. I also kind of generally agree that even though it is completely reasonable for them to make things cost some gold, and I don't think they ever actually said transmog was going to be free.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. So it's not fair that my expectation was set by someone else.
Yeah,
so
the problem was
they
basically suggested transmog was going to be less expensive, and that idea was, it's like some people took it and ran with it. So yeah, it's disappointing because it kind of set everyone's expectations wrong, and then like the system could be just kind of had to be disappointing at that point. And I'm not mad, I'm just really disappointed, and I definitely will never in my lifetime have enough gold to unlock all of these slots to get the functionality of transmog back to what it is today. And I'm frankly really upset about it. Not mad upset, but just
Liz is disappointed, Blizzard. She's disappointed. Do you want that on your conscience?
You've disappointed.
Disappointed.
I mean, I'm gonna start crying over here, okay, guys?
Oh, we should talk about dungeons then instead.
Yeah,
I was gonna suggest moving along as well. Yeah.
There's not much more to say.
So we've had that they're testing the Midnight Season 1 dungeons on the beta. That's going to be today, as we are recording, on Tuesday, November 18th. In fact, I think they'll have done it by now. Yeah, because it started at noon p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. So
yeah, it's live.
Yeah, so that happened. I was going to that's running until Tuesday, December 2nd. That's going to end at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, and
Well-
then they have Cest here, 7 p.m. Cest. And there's right now the ones that are opening right now. The current round of testing, we've got Pit of Sarin,
Blech.
Skyreach,
Sorry.
Seed of the Triumvirate, and Algathar Academy. Those are the 4 that are getting tested.
3 very good dungeons and one that should never have existed.
3
I
good
hear
dungeons,
somebody-
then Pit of I don't know, seat of the Triumvirate.
I like it
I like
way.
Seed of the
I
Sarin.
like
there.
Seat of the Triumvirate way more than Pit of Saron.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the guild I was in had the weird strategy of just charging to the top and fighting everything there, and for some reason it worked for us. In retrospect, we were pretty bad.
Well, Matt, I think that's also because at the time I was your healer.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
So you all survived while I'm sitting there like chain smoking in the background, trying to like calm my nerves as everybody's pulling everything up the dang. No, me and Pit of Saron, I broke up with it a long time ago. I do not want to see my ex again.
But there are
Joe,
some.
Your ex
there-
has been fully reimagined for a modernized experience, including
Nope,
a complete
I'm good.
pass on creature spawning.
Well,
Whatever.
these are going to be our season 1 dungeons, and there have been some changes. Like Phil was saying, this has been reimagined. I was hoping that maybe Phil or Joe could talk about some of the changes coming to these dungeons. Are they good, bad? Are they enough? Do I need to be chain running these dungeons and submitting a lot of feedback reports?
Unfortunately, some of these changes are so broad-reaching that we don't actually know how they are without running them. Like,
Yeah.
Seed of the Triumvirate, all creature and boss encounters have been updated. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I will point out one specific concern I had when I heard this set of dungeons was the thing they've been doing for the last couple expansions, where you get like 4 of the current dungeons and then 4 old dungeons in the Mythic Plus season, and that is the wind platform on Skyreach. Because
yeah,
it's automatically a slowdown for a lot of classes if you don't have a way to cheat your way around it. And also,
I
if
love
you're
you,
timing-
Heroic Leap.
Yeah, Heroic Leap is so good in there. Like I saw it was in there, and I was like, all right, Warrior for season 1, got it. But then, like, also the birds on that platform, if your timing was just a little bit off, you had a good chance of dying anytime Skyreach was at level content, because the birds would just hit you, and then it's
Boom.
like when you're going through a city where the stoplights are on a timer such that if you get 1 green, you get all the greens, and if you get 1 red, you'll hit every red. If you got hit by the first bird on Skyreach, you were going to get hit by every bird on the wind platform and probably die.
Mm-hmm.
And also the first person, so the birds no longer deal damage at all. So it's just a mandatory slowdown period now, which is kind of goofy. And the first person across can now disable it by channeling on a little thing called coalescing winds, so that everyone who's bad at it can get across afterward. This is a very positive change for Skyreach.
But why even do it then?
Yeah, I admit that I don't understand the whole point of it. It just means, do you have somebody who can leap over the winds, or someone like, a Death Knight or a Shaman who has a way to either ignore or mitigate a lot of the winds? I don't know. I don't get it. But I'm not as curious to see that one as I am to see Pit of Sarin, because that dungeon is probably going to feel like a completely new dungeon at this point. Which is good, because there were some encounters that absolutely would not have worked in the modern WoW experience. I'm looking at the thing on Scourgelord Tyrannus where he would mark one of your DPS and they just
Oh my
couldn't
god.
do anything, or they would murder the tank. Like, that doesn't work in modern WoW.
Especially when he sometimes targeted the tank with the thing it was only supposed to be on DPS. That was fun.
And it's like, cool, I can't do anything or I
Yeah.
die. Love to hear that. So
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be able to keep the threat off of that rogue now.
mhm.
But also,
Messengers.
I want to say that I hope when they say they're doing a complete pass on creature spawning, it is that pathway up to Tyrannus that they're talking about, because that was wild and not at all like it wasn't very sane. I feel like that needed to be that needed a look. That in my opinion, that is the thing I remember the most breaking groups. I remember people getting really, really angry. So I'm going to say look at that one.
I was going to say a lot of these changes, and I agree with Phil. Like, some of them are just so broad sweeping that or broad sweeping statements that until we get in there and test them, we're not really going to know. But I will say that some of the stuff is really nice, like, or at least for me, they're like quality of life things. Like Veximus no longer gaining energy when an arcane orb reaches it to prevent unfair overlaps with arcane fissures. Thank you. Like random wipes at high levels when that would happen were very frustrating. So it looks like there's a bunch of tuning, a bunch of tweaking, which is great. So we are going to, I mean, I'm looking forward to actually testing this, in particular because, well, it's important, and I like healing dungeons a lot. I like healing Mythic Plus a lot. And I'd like to know what state it's going to be in and what I'm going to be in when it happens. So, and I will suffer through Pit of Saron. I might just need a shot of whiskey to do it, but I will suffer through it to see how that is.
All right. Anything further on these before we move on to the next bit?
No, I think I'm good.
Nope, I've said all I said.
Okay. Liz?
No.
All right. Legion Remix Phase 4 begins November 18th, which is again today as we're recording. It's the Argus zones. It's Seat of the Triumvirate dungeon. So you can go practice for when it comes out in midnight again. And it's going to have the Antorus raid as well, of course. Antorus is another really good raid. I think it's one of the best raids in WoW. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but although I don't really like some of the fights, but I don't want to talk about them right now. Also, apparently they've hotfixed it so you can get the hidden artifact appearances.
That's
there
good.
was so one of the things that they'd said early on was that no, they're not adding any new artifact appearances, and the crowd booed. Then they said, oh, well, you can get the ones that already exist in case you haven't earned them in retail, and the crowd cheered. Then everyone realized, the majority of the hidden artifact appearances don't take place on the Broken Isles. Either they require you to leave to start them, or they require you to leave at some point during the quest for them. Like, it's not. It's there were a lot of things
My paladin,
that were off about it. Yeah,
definitely had to go a lot of places, including the places that are not.
Your red paladin had to do that old rumor chain effectively from when. Well, so they actually have shortcutted that a little bit too, because of how there's no fishing in Legion Remix, and so they can't actually start it by fishing up Nat Pagel's old book. That specific one, you actually just start by getting the Dark Shard item from Horus and pick up from there. But if Legion Remix players have seen these, they may not know what they are because they're just a number of portals scattered all over the place that are just like mysterious time-bound portal. And sometimes you take them and you're like, well, why did this take me out to Fail's Rest in Tirisful Glades? What's this for? Or it's like, why did this take me to this random spot in Dalaran? And those are related to the artifact appearances. If you can start a hidden artifact appearance on the Broken Isles, you can now get that item to drop. So like if you're working on the Demonology Warlock artifact, which requires you to collect skulls from Eridar, that those skulls started dropping after this hotfix, and also they now's the patch for you because there's so many Eridar on Argus. But like if it was one that started off of the Isles, then you can now get that one. Or if it's one that required travel off of the Isles, they've hotfixed it so that people can get their hidden artifact appearances. So that's cool. I might try to get some of the ones that have never dropped for me before, such as the bear one, which is a drop from Ursoc. At the time that everybody was running Emerald Nightmare in Remix, it was not dropping. And now they've added it and no one's running Emerald Nightmare anymore. So
maybe if you get powerful enough, you can go solo it.
Yeah, I think that might be what I have to do. So, but maybe I'll finally get that bear look. So, but they've added they've added that to it, and it's kind of cool.
They've also added a bunch of new rewards that you can get from vendors and stuff as well, which I think is good. Including there's like mounts. There's go ahead, Liz.
We knew they'd be adding stuff. Basically, as they unlock the raids, you're getting all of the rewards related to those raids unlocked. And of course, the one I'm super looking forward to is getting all of those scythes, which are now available, I think, in 3 different colors. Is that correct?
Yeah, green, red, and blue.
And
That's just
and yeah, not just 3 different colors, but also you obtain staff versions at the same time. Previously, they've been restricted
that's
to
so
polearm wearers,
cool.
but you were also getting staff variants. It looks like.
This would be so cool if transmog were as functional as it is today.
It should be for Legion, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Legion Remix should still be as functional.
Those
It's
just
Liz is
continue to be
busy looking to the
disappointed.
future.
I am so disappointed. You guys have no idea.
I'm starting to get an idea.
There is not a chart. There is not a chart I could make out that would show my level of disappointment.
There is the cartoon of the cat hanging from a rope, the hang in there. That's me right now, responding to you because I feel bad.
I do. We're trying. I'm doing my best over here.
There is an exclusive thing added with this patch that I also think is cool that is not from Argus, which is that Lightforged Draenei and Nightborn are able to pick up recolors of their heritage armor that some of which have been in the files for the game since Legion. There is a Nightborn have one new coloration. It's that dark red one, which it's termed Vineyard Red in game. Which is like a dark red and gold version of their heritage armor ensemble. Lightforged
Blood
Draenei
Elf
have
adjacent.
yeah, it's right there. Lightforged Draenei have 3 new ones. One of which also Blood Elf adjacent because it is dark red with the same gold ornaments as the standard set. But they also have Holy Gold, which is kind of like the current one, but with like some of the, despite the name, has some of the like glaring yellow colors like toned down. It's kind of a more muted gold color, and then Hollow Gemmed, which is a more purpley color.
But they also have the Grimsoul one?
I don't know. Those are the only 3 I know about. I also know that they're extremely cheap in terms of bronze. They are 7,500 bronze, which is basically nothing at the rate that bronze drops in Remix. So,
you know what's kind of funny, though?
Mm-hmm.
You know one thing that isn't on a vendor that dropped in Antaurus? Taishalok.
Taishalok is actually on the vendor, and there is a one-handed version of it.
Where?
Wowhead has left it off of their article for some reason, but it's been on the vendor. You've been able to see it on the vendor since phase 1. You just can't get it yet.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
Defeating Agrimar gets you a drop item, just like how all the rare raid drop items have something you get by beating the boss that they originally came from. In this case, you do get an item for beating Agrimar. And if you get it, you get both if you get 20 of that item and 30,000 bronze, you get both the old version of Taishalok and also a one-handed version of Taishalok, which is the big, cool flaming sword where like the top half of the blade is just completely gone and it's fire. So yeah, Taishalok is I've
been farming that thing for years and it hasn't dropped. So yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, they left it off the list here, but Taishalok is definitely in Remix, so you'll be able to grab it. I do want to say we kind of skewered Blizzard for the transmog thing, so I will give them a prop for something they did in this one, which is not tying the currency that I need to buy transmog to be the same currency I need to upgrade gear. Thank you. I've never had to fret about how to spend my bronze in this. I just go, well, I'm going to buy whatever I want right now, and then I'm just going to get more because it just kind of flows like water. And it's really cool. Another thing in this patch since Argus opened up is a lot of those things that dropped from rares on Argus, both inside the Antaurus raid and outside, are available for purchase for bronze. Some of them are a little more expensive than others. Like if you want the mount that dropped from Mythic Argus or the one from the Antoran Charhound from Faharg, those are each 100,000 bronze. But for example, the fell-spotted egg, which you would have to farm up on Argus and then wait 5 days for it to hatch, and then 90% of the time you got an egg yolk. Those are a much more reasonable 40,000 per coloration. So way to fill in. I really enjoy the use of these to fill in things where, it's like I've tried for these over the years. I've put in my time on the the fighting the RNG. I'm just happy to be able to just put in some time, target this, and buy this cool thing I always wanted. So yeah, I think this has been another successful remix, and now you can buy stuff from Argus, which is cool. I'm just very interested to see what they do next, because we know that there is a 5th phase coming. I'm assuming it's just going to be, all numbers go up, more bronze, more power, more everything, just so people spend the last half of Remix getting absolutely everything they ever wanted, but we know there's going to be some kind of cool event near the end because there's a feat of strength related to Infernals raining down. So, which reminds me of like old days when MMOs would go out and you'd actually have, go offline. You'd have GMs online just spawning enemies to fight players. So, kind of a cool moment for us old folks, I guess.
I have to
Speaking of
random
us old
aside,
folks.
not game related, real quick. Every time somebody says feat of strength, does anybody else think of Isaac Hayes in Robin Hood Men in Tights? Like, or am I the only person?
Well, I'm
I
going
gotta
to
admit, I
now.
haven't thought
Every
about, I haven't thought
time.
about that in
Every
a long
time.
Great.
No, great strength of feet. Like every time it plays in my head. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Anyway, now to feel even older, WoW's 21st anniversary event is started on the 16th, and it's pretty much the same as last year, but there's a new Loyal Watchman cosmetic set and a Kaz Elgar enthusiast title, which, okay, cool, I guess, if that's what you want to do with your life. I don't know. The anniversary events have not really been getting my attention the past couple of years.
Yeah, this one's
I
kind of
mean,
low
last
key.
year's
It's like
last
90%
year's-
the one from last year. So
last year's was a huge blowout event. I think you're going to be most excited about this if it's like, oh, I didn't get that
missed
last year.
year.
I can get this. Well, or just I can get this year. And there was some Secrets of Azeroth stuff that is specifically tied to this and was difficult to start or to get if you hadn't done this, I believe. Stuff that you need to get the Fell Cycle, which has been difficult to do if you didn't do this last year. So it's cool for it to be back. There's nothing like thrilling to go back for if you did it last year.
Yeah.
Unless you really love Kaz Elgar and you need the new enthusiast title, because there's one for every expansion.
I might go through it on my Paladin just to get the Paladin set because I didn't do that last year. But I probably won't because I know me. The transmog, but then it's like also, tired. Let's see what else we got here. This one, I admit, I've never understood why it exists, but well, I do understand why it exists, and the reason it exists is because it costs $90 US. The Traders Gilded Brutusar mounts back, and it's $90, and you can buy it up until January 5th. So if you want to have a really big mount
With an auction
and you
house.
didn't get it, with an auction house, $90. Please use it responsibly. Don't park it on top of a mailbox, please. It's so hard to get around this thing.
well, the good news is if they park it on a mailbox, you can just use the mailbox that's on it, so it's fine.
That's a fair point.
But also, don't leave it out in the Zocalo if you're in Desert Alola where something can spook one of the Brutosaurs. I have just traumatized every Horde player I had to walk past that world quest.
Yup. Every time.
So yeah, there's that. Finally, for WoW news, the Blood Ties novel is releasing on November 18th, which again is today
It's
as we're
live
recording.
now.
As of the time of this
so-
recording, it is live.
So
Yes.
I'm sure Joe and I will have to talk about that soon.
Well, I have to get it in my hands first.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. But it's by Christy Golden, who we all like, and it's it's a pretty big and it's a tie-in to Midnight, so we probably want to read it just so we know what's going on.
Seems to be going around some of the stuff that Matt and I talked about in this most recent lore watch as of the time of this recording. So possibly if you're reading this book, maybe listen to our lore watch and then read the book.
Yeah, at this point, just so I can make sure that we get this in before we do other stuff, Liz, do you mind doing the various site news type stuff?
Yes, I want to remind all of you that Blizzard Watch is made possible by listeners like you. You are the ones that keep the site going and keep these podcasts going. And your support really helps us. I want to give a special shout out to Kitten Promise, who pledged this week at $10 a month. Wow, that helps us so much to just keep the virtual lights on. If you support us at $3 a month, you get early access to all of our podcasts with the exclusive Blizzard Watch podcast pre-show, where we talked a lot about the Outer Worlds this week. It's just it's a great game. And at $5 a month, you also get ads-free access to the website. So if you're able to support us, that helps us so much. It's you guys that keep the site going. If you can't, I totally understand. It's things are rough out there in the real world, but you can still support us just by listening Thank you so much for listening. That really helps. Listen to the podcast, read the website, share articles with your friends who might enjoy them. You can follow us on social media, which is a great place to share things. We are Blizzard Watch on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Mastodon at gamepad.club. We are blizzardwatch.com on Blue Sky, Blizzard Watch Podcast on YouTube, and blizzard.watch, the dot is important, on TikTok. So posting a lot of podcast clips on TikTok and Instagram. If you like the podcast, you may like the clips. They're only occasionally wildly out of context, only sometimes. You can also send us questions for any of our podcasts, whether you're supporting us or not. Send them to podcast@blizzardwatch.com. Specify the show in the subject line and any special pronunciation of your name. We love getting your questions, and we try to answer them every show, but sometimes we don't have any new ones. So please send us your questions. If you have any Blizzard-related questions, any video game lore-related questions, any tabletop gaming questions, toss them to us. Also, another way to support us, if you're interested in buying any Warcraft-related books, we have a guide that rounds up all of them in chronological order. There are so many of them. You can go to blizzardwatch.com/Warcraft-books, and those, we get a small commission if you buy them through our link. So if you're buying books anyway, buy them through that link, and that really helps us out. So thank you all so much. And if you can't support us, go to patreon.com/BlizzardWatch. It helps so much. So thank you all for being here.
And thank you to Liz for saying all that, so the rest of us can sit here and let her talk for that long period of time and get drinks.
Now I need to take a drink of water. That was so many words.
You take a drink, and now while you're doing that, we'll move on and we'll quickly talk about Overwatch really fast, because they've made a new hero, Vendetta. I guess she's actually called La Lupa, and the Vendetta hero trailer came out in October.
Her name is
right?
Vendetta.
Yeah, but La Lupa is she calls herself that in the trailer, so just don't be too confused by that. It's the anime style. It's not using in-game assets or anything. I liked it. Quite frankly, I'm interested in it because it's basically every warrior. Sorry, my D&D was showing. Every warrior I've ever played in WoW except for my very first one. I'm sitting there going, she's even got a Robo Ashkandi. And it does look like Ashkandi. It's got a big hole in the middle. It's got the flaring. It is a techno Ashkandi. So yeah, I'm sitting there watching this trailer going, I really wish I didn't get motion sick playing Overwatch, because I would play this.
I want to know who authorized this name, because as a person of Latinx descent,
I know what you're talking about.
Oh no, do you? Because
La Lupa? Yeah, I know why that's potentially bad. Yes.
Okay, because it's a weird name for somebody to call themselves. I understand what they were meaning, but it also has a negative connotation with it. Why, Blizzard? Why?
Her name is Vendetta. That's the hero's
Vendetta.
name. The trailer.
I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that they have it as a line.
I have her say that I am.
Yeah,
this.
that's the problem. I heard that in the trailer, and I'm just like, how did this get okayed?
Well, I mean, for one thing, nobody there, probably no one actually checked with people to know that. What's really weird is the meaning that we're talking about, and I'm not going to say what it is. That goes back to Roman times.
Yes.
As in the myth of Romulus and Remus.
Yes.
People knew about this meaning and used it as a joke. So it's really weird to me that they didn't catch it.
It's all, I mean, yeah. So I don't want to dwell on it. The character looks cool. But yeah.
Big sword. It's with the big sword. I'm down. I'm going to call them Vendetta, and I might even play, despite the illness I get whenever I play Overwatch, just to get to hit things with that big sword. Because I want that sword in WoW so bad. I want.
Let us talk just a second about what the hero looks like. This is not a gameplay trailer. This is a story trailer about who she is, but you can certainly get a impression. This is a lady who hits things with a sword that is larger than she is and cuts giant robots in half. That seems to be the whole vibe. So you've got a melee focused fighter, which she's impressive looking. And the first thing I thought about when I saw her is that, wow, this is a Matt character. This is
Seriously,
This is
I
Matt
want
all
to play
over.
this. I really want to play this. I'm very sad that I'm not good at Overwatch, and it makes me kind of ill because, oh my word, like if this had been in the game when it launched, I would have made myself play it. So yeah, it is basically every character I played in WoW for years now in Overwatch. It makes me miss Heroes of the Storm. Because I'm like, then this would come out for Heroes of the Storm, and I could play it in that. I mean, oh yikes! Oh, that's it. I don't have anything else to say about that one. Does anyone else before we move on to the next thing?
Nope.
Okay. This one's kind of sad. But I'm hoping he's got good things coming up for him. Adam Fletcher, who is Pez Radar, if you've paid attention to the Diablo, social media type stuff, especially their forums. He is no longer going to be at Diablo. He's leaving Blizzard on November 19th, which means tomorrow as we're recording. By the time you hear this, if you're not listening to it live, he will have left Blizzard. Which at this point, it kind of feels like they don't have anybody left who does anything public to explain things other than like the big video things they release.
There are a few people, but no one was as front facing as Adam. I mean,
like Pez Radar was right up there.
He was the guy. He was the director of social and content marketing, and it's like he was running most of their live streams. He's the guy who would answer questions if you asked them on the forums or social media. So there are other people who post on social media, and I feel like recently they've been trying to get more faces, more people on their live streams.
Quite possibly because they knew this was coming.
Quite possibly because they knew this was coming. And I feel like there's maybe some effort made to get more people involved and in front of the camera. But man, I don't know where we're going. I don't know who's going to take over and do this sort of stuff after Adam leaves.
Yeah. So as a person who does still enjoy Diablo, both 3 and 4, I'm sad to see him go. I think he did a really good job, but we'll see what happens. I hope he's going somewhere good. I hope he's going to have something good in the future. You hate to hear about people leaving and then nothing ever comes up again. I'm hoping in this case that he does something cool. He gets to have some fun with something. Speaking of things like that, though, we've got other game stuff we wanted to talk about. We don't have a lot of time, and 2 of them are game awards and indie game awards. I really want to mention Hytale because I didn't see this coming at all. Hytale, do you guys remember the MMO Riot was working on?
Yep.
Nope.
And they shuttered it.
Yep.
And now they've literally just sold it to a new management team who were people that were working on it before. They started their own company.
Yeah, we kind of expected something like that to happen, though, right? Like we're musing that might be one of the things that happened.
I'm used that as a complete like sarcastic, this will never happen thing, kind of like I was with player housing. And now it has happened, and I am happy because, quite frankly, it looks like a fun, much less serious MMO. But also, I'm like, is this the time that we release new MMOs?
I think you do.
I don't know.
And I also like, as much guff as I give Riot, and I will give any company guff when they earn it, I will say they've been pretty good about like game development and understanding like letting go of things, I guess would be the best way to put it. So like this sort of makes sense in the vein of like what we've seen in the past with other stuff that they've done. So I'm excited, and I think that people are saying that the time of MMOs is done. I don't think it is, and WoW's longevity, I think, proves that. If anything, I think it's going to be exciting, and I'm really happy to hear of another MMO releasing, or not releasing, but like being worked on, because I think it's good. It's competition, and it also means fresh ideas might get instituted or put into the space. And as we all know, fresh ideas are good. Well, sometimes.
For me, honestly, the reason I'm happy about it is, for one thing, it's people that worked on a game getting to come back and still work on the game that they loved and put their time into.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I'm also kind of surprised that they're going to attempt Linux and Mac releases. Windows at launch, but then Linux and Mac are their next before they even move on to other platforms. They're going for Linux and Mac.
Again,
and that's interesting.
That handheld market. Mac is interesting. Yeah. Linux is not surprising. Mac is interesting.
Yeah.
Mac, actually, games that run on Mac, they scream. Games run incredibly on the Mac. There's also a developer's toolkit that makes it easier to port games to Mac. In fact, someone like me, little old me, who does not have a lot of programming experience, does not have development experience, I can, use the developer's toolkit to sometimes out of the box run a PC game on my Mac if I'm willing to jump through some hoops. So Apple has really, really been trying hard to get game developers to release games native to Mac, and they have provided some tools that can make it easier. So maybe that's what they're counting on, is support from Apple and using kind of the existing tools to help them get it to this platform.
That's good. And then Linux makes sense because of handhelds.
Yeah.
A lot of the handhelds, like we know that Windows is trying to break into the market, but Linux based handhelds are sort of like, looking at you, Steam Deck, having a native client.
The new Steam stuff that's coming out will be Linux as well.
Exactly. So
I should also mention that this is one of those cases where, for lack of a better word, this is plucky underdogs who just came to Riot and said, look, let us buy this. And they did it, according to them, they did it sight unseen. Like, they had no idea what the current development was. They'd been on the game back in its beginning, but they hadn't been on the game in years. And they were like, oh, look, we just don't want to see this game die. So sell it to us. And Riot did. They own this game. Riot sold it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm happy. I wish League of Legends had done this. I wish somebody had bought League of Legends and we could have had it this whole time instead of waiting years for them to finally realize, oh, hey, people still like this. Not League of Legends, sorry, City of Heroes. Wow, League of Legends. They should. I was
gonna say, brother, League's still going strong.
No, I meant City of Heroes. I'm sorry. I realized as I was saying it, like, wait, no, that didn't happen. I put the mention on my end. This is definitely, Go ahead.
On the subject of MMOs, I want to mention something that did make our topics list, which is that Guild Wars is getting Guild Wars Reforged, which is basically the original Guild Wars Classic Edition updated for the modern day. That brings all of the campaigns. You can run it on Steam Deck. It gives it just a big update to sort of bring it up to modern standards and lets you play all of this game. Which the original Guild Wars was really great. I played it back in the day. I don't want to go and look at how far back in the day it was, because knowing that WoW is 21 years old is basically enough to make me collapse into a pile of dust. But
would it surprise you to know that Guild Wars 1, as of this month, still had 25,000 people logging into it regularly?
No,
that would not surprise me at all. There was always an active classic community in WoW well before it was official or supported or accepted by Blizzard. So I'm not surprised that Guild Wars is getting that kind of treatment as well. But, maybe it is the time to launch an MMO. Maybe people are more willing to play MMOs than we might think.
I also think it's really interesting, just so you guys know, I don't know if you've ever seen this, there is a website that actually tracks MMO population by day. And it literally tracks essentially everything that's not World of Warcraft, because World of Warcraft does not expose those numbers. And it's an estimated number over a 7-day rolling period. So it's as much as they can obtain from what's legally available or like openly available. And they've got like stuff on here like Warframe, Path of Exile, Final Fantasy 11 still has an active player count. Final Fantasy 14 obviously is still on there. But like you can get an interesting look at how many people are playing this game or these games roughly daily and like where they are. Cause like Conan Exiles still has about 80,000 people logging into it. Conan Exiles, I am shook knowing that. Just little interesting numbers. That's all. I just thought it was fascinating.
I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about that slider. Anyway, we also, we're kind of out of time, but we do also have Game Awards and the Indie Game Awards to at least mention are happening.
It's kind of the awards season right now, and everyone's announced their nominees for the year. So
And is what I predicted is happening. Claire Obscura is being in both categories. It's on the Game Awards and it's the Indie Game Awards because it is that good a game. Everybody wants it.
I mean,
And it was, in my mind, it absolutely was an indie game. There was no way you can argue it wasn't. It'd be like saying that Silksong was.
I mean, I think the hard thing is that it's pitted up against like games that were put together by a single developer kind of thing. So it's hard to be like, okay, where does the line fall, and is it fair to have these tiny studios go up against large? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. There may not be an answer.
We are at a point where indie game needs to actually start being broken down into subcategories.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, have it be like single developer, multi-person developer, and development team type things. I don't know, but I definitely think that Claire Obscure is definitely a really good game that deserves to be nominated for a lot of things.
Yeah, and I mean, the Indie Game Awards have a whole lot of categories. When you look at something like the Game Awards, it doesn't subdivide indie games. It's like indie games or not indie games. That's the line. So if you look at the Indie Game Awards, there's a lot of different categories, but still, Claire Obscure is up for Game of the Year, and it's created some. The whole thing has created some enthusiastic online arguments. You can take that as you will.
Yep. So, in addition to that, we should probably mention the last bit, which is that Cozy Quest is highlighting and discounting a bunch of fun cozy games, which it's on Steam, by the way. I should have said that up front. Let's we can't list all of them. Well, we could, but we're not going to. But Liz, tell us the ones you think we should get.
Oh,
and then everybody else can tell me the ones they think we should get. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, I could have told you things about indie games, but this one, I mean, it's the sale of a lot of cozy titles. Unpacking is a really interesting one. Unpacking made me a little insane because it's literally it's telling the narrative story of a person as they grow up and become an adult through them moving and unpacking their boxes every time. And this is what's in their house now. This is what's in their house now. And you can see the things that stay, the things that go. It's a really interesting concept, and it makes a really interesting narrative. The thing that made me completely insane, it's like you're taking things out of the box and putting them places. And sometimes there were really specific places you had to put things. And it made me nuts. But that's a really good game with a really kind of low-key, interesting story. Winter Burrow is on here. That's a game we were talking about on the site just last week, which is you are a tiny mouse building an adorable burrow, and also it's winter, and you might freeze to death. So it's like it's got that really cute and cozy part, and then it's got that, oh wow, winter is really terrible, and you may die horribly by freezing. So I'm not sure where I fall on that one. I both really want to play it, and I'm like, but I don't like being a tiny mouse freezing to death. I don't know.
Joe or Phil, you have anything to recommend?
I'm not a cozy gamer, so sort of out of my element here.
Bill?
Yeah, I think this is more of a Liz-coded thing. I will note that there is kind of I guess I would call it a cozy coded puzzle game that I really enjoy that's on sale. Actually, a couple of them. One is the short title is A Monster's Expedition. The full title is A Monster's Expedition Through Curious Expositions, which is just a fun little puzzle game that can gets deviously hard after a while. And then the other one that I would call out is called Is This Seat Taken? Which is
that's such an interesting game.
Yeah, it's logic puzzles, but it's like if you've ever had those ones about like if you've ever seen like those written logic puzzles about like seating people at a wedding, but like X doesn't like Y, and Z has to be within X seats of the wedding party, etc., that kind of thing. That's basically what Is This Seat Taken is. You're trying to arrange situations with hilariously picky people so that they are seated correctly. Like there's one where you're arranging people in a movie theater, and one person insists on wearing their big hat. So you cannot put them in front of anyone else because they have to be wearing their big hat, and they'll block anyone else's view if they're in front of them. Or it's things like that. It's just got a cute little art style. Like there's one where you're arranging people on a bus, and there is someone who wants to be with their parent, but also you can't sit them near anyone except their parent because they also forgot to shower today and they're feeling embarrassed about it. So yeah, I'd say those are probably my two: a monstrous expedition and Is This Seat.
All right, and I don't have one because it isn't out yet, and you can't play it yet, and I'm sad. It's Hounded, it's Stray, but you fight ghosts, and you're a border collie. I want this game so bad. I am dying to get this game.
My wife hears this, she will be going out to pick it up as soon as it is available. That is such. That is her.
If
game.
you can hear over his speakers, it's called Hounded. But no, I think that's the podcast, guys. That is it. We made it to the end of the show. We got most of the stuff we wanted to talk about. Although we could always have talked more about all of it because that's why we're doing.
There's so much. Right? There's always so much.
Yep. All right, but thank you all for being here and listening to us go. Thank you to Liz and Joe for being the bedrock that keeps this podcast going. Thank you to Phil for showing up and letting me actually not mispronounce his name once for once.
Yeah, you actually said it correctly on the first try in both pre-show and the regular show, and I'm so proud of you, Matt.
I'm trying so hard. It's not my fault that I read a lot of Daredevil comics as a kid.
Yep.
That's the problem. But anyway, thank you again, everybody. This has been the Blizzard Watch podcast, and we'll be back next week.